O projeto é que se chama Alternative Citizenship. Ok. Mais ou menos, mas vocês já vão explicar isso. Agora, o que eu queria dizer é que, pronto, as perguntas vão ter que ser feitas em inglês, porque os elementos do grupo só falam inglês e nós vamos tentar depois fazer uma pequena tradução. Antes de mais, este projeto arrancou no dia 25 de Abril, certo? Que é o dia da nossa revolução, vocês já devem saber. E, portanto, são 6 caravanas diferentes que arrancaram de que cidade?
De Barcelona.
A vossa foi de Barcelona, mas as outras caravanas arrancaram de diferentes locais, não é? Portanto, tentaram compilar uma série de eixos que são importantes neste momento de debater a nível europeu, principalmente que se prendem com minorias que não podem ter uma voz ativa, e assim sendo, o que vocês também têm vindo a fazer é entrarem em contacto com uma série de associações. How many associations have you been to? Since you started the trip?
No?
Yes.
Oh God.
In the trip, we visit I think we have
15?
15.
More? Maybe
yeah,
more?
yeah. But
In 8 days.
In fact,
8.
it could...
De hecho, a nivel del número de corruptos, de casos judiciales, donde mayor hay, en términos relativos y absolutos, es en Valencia, ¿no? Hay unos 1.150 casos judiciales con gente acusada por corrupción y, sin embargo, en la Comunidad Valenciana hay 300 cargos públicos de gobierno autonómico y locales del Partido Popular, la mayoría, y 100 familiares y funcionarios pendientes de juicio, porque solamente hay uno en la cárcel, de estos casi 400, y digamos que en toda España no llega a 1.200, o sea, casi la tercera parte están en la Comunidad Valenciana, y sin embargo solo hay uno en la cárcel, una persona.
Y se trataba de defender una industria rentable y muy fuerte en la ciudad de Alicante. Porque ya no solo mi empleo, el de mi compañero, es el que, si esa industria se va, no va a generar más empleo. Y aquí, en Coca-Cola, han trabajado generaciones de alicantinos. Y a partir de ahora, no van a trabajar, precisamente porque la planta se ha cerrado, dando beneficios, que ese es el mayor problema.
Pues bueno, atendimos una llamada del gobierno que decía, bueno, hay que cumplir los acuerdos de Kioto y hay que lanzarse en invertir en energías renovables, y os pedimos, casi se nos llegó a pedir la colaboración, vamos, esa es la idea, ¿no? Te facilitan hasta los créditos, te lo facilitan todo, te ponen una alfombra perfecta, te dicen, oye, usted no tiene, no se preocupe, los créditos se los damos automáticamente, usted no tiene más que ir a firmar, y de pronto te cambian las reglas del juego a mitad del partido y te encuentras, pues, valga la expresión, mirando al sol, diciendo, pero ¿qué ha pasado aquí?
Então, basicamente o que este grupo está a fazer é está a dar voz ao Pacto Cidadão, tentar que cada vez mais pessoas tenham acesso a estas questões. Pretendem dar uma voz a quem não a tem no Parlamento Europeu, sendo que cada vez mais só os assuntos de âmbito mais económico e financeiro costumam ser ponderados.
Hasta el 2009 nadie se enteró en Córdoba de que el obispado había inmatriculado la mezquita catedral en el registro de la propiedad. Nadie la había inmatriculado y dice, pues esto es mío. En eso consiste la inmatriculación. Parece mentira que el Ayuntamiento de Córdoba y el Gobierno de España prefiera defender la titularidad privada por encima de la titularidad pública. La pregunta es, ¿qué tipo de gente nos está gobernando? ¿Qué tipo de políticos nos están gobernando? Están en contra de lo que realmente representan, que es lo público, ¿no?
Quítale una sumisión que no y que la paguen. Mientras nosotros, los de abajo, seguimos pasando hambre, seguimos pasando miseria y le estamos pasando putas. Y cuando una persona la pasa puta, cuando a una persona le quitan todo lo que tiene, cuando una persona pierde el miedo, se convierte en un animal que lucha por mantener la sanidad, por mantener la educación y por mantener este Estado que tanto nos ha costado y que lo estamos perdiendo.
¿Cómo hemos durado 14 años? Gente tan dispar, tan diversa, es decir, aquí hay vecinas con 80 años, hay comerciantes, hay asociaciones, hay artistas, hay personas ideologizadas, ya puedan ser socialistas, comunistas, cristianos, ecologistas. Aquí hay tal gama que no se explica cómo pueden convivir tantos años sin ninguna subvención, siendo tan activos, tan creativos y manteniendo todavía esa relación también con su pasado. Es decir, somos innovadores y también mantenedores de nuestras tradiciones. Entonces, esa mezcla y esa capacidad organizativa también tan básica, tan simple, una asamblea al mes, una persona que lleva la contabilidad, que es muy básica, es muy simple, y una persona que distribuye los espacios para que no se pisen unos a otros. Con esa simple organización se funciona. Esto es como un organismo vivo, esto es un ecosistema y va creando su ecorriqueza. Nosotros la riqueza no es el dinero, nosotros la riqueza son significados, valores, y que la gente lo recree constantemente.
Portanto, trazer outro tipo de questões e de problemas à União Europeia e, nomeadamente, numa altura em que estamos a chegar às eleições, para que quem venha agora a ganhar estas eleições europeias possa pegar neste manifesto e ter conhecimento de algumas minorias e problemas que estão também na ordem do dia e possam levá-las a debate.
Hundreds of thousands of Portuguese workers that live with less than 500 euros per month. 500 euros per month is not enough, not even in the cheapest places in Portugal, to raise a family, to have a decent life. There is a basic problem, which is in Europe, different states with different economic structures are invited to live under the same rules. And this crisis has been a demonstration that these rules, these common rules, are not really adapted to different economic structures. So this is a basic challenge that Europe has to deal with. At a certain point, most of the people, most of the Portuguese population stopped to believe on the possibility of an alternative. So we try to engage as many people as possible in this discussion and in this process of building alternatives to the present state of affairs.
And the CDA was very important because it joined people from various spectrum of the opposition, people from different parties, people from the Socialist Party, the Left Bloc, the Communist Party, and other sensibilities, and people that didn't have any formalization with parties, academics, economists, sociologists, everyone that, and they joined together to make a political proposition.
I don't know if you know where it came from. Well, the foundators of the organization, they organized the biggest protests we had in Portugal after the 25th April.
Yeah.
It was the Geração Arrasca protest.
It was after the Arab Spring in 2010.
It's the origin also for other movements like...
15M started from there. The Indignados movement. From what I know, people came from Spain and from other countries in Europe and met here in April to organize this meeting.
You mixed mathematics with music and with astrology and with philosophy and so that's the idea of academy. It's the knowledge is integrated and the action is also integrated with the knowledge and of course that's it.
The system is organized with this separation between things, and if we think that this system failed in a way, we don't want to build something new based in the old principles that we know that have failed. Let's try to think about different things and build things in a different way with connecting all these different inputs from different origins. In a way, we hope to empower lots of other people, and these people can bring change to their lives and to their communities, and step by step we hope to change things and give power to people and make them realize that they don't have to vote just every 4 years or 5 years. And what would you do to change the place where you live? Your street, your neighbor, your country. What would you do to change the place you live?
Or the world.
Or the world, yeah.
You can go from changing the world or just the place you live or just your street or just your home, I don't know.
We do not believe that Europe is either politically or socially viable if we insist on this low-wage, precarious economic development model for the southern periphery. So what is happening now in Europe is not only a destruction of the European project as a whole, but is a destruction of the basic sense of democracy. And we have to deal with this contradiction in Portugal, because even though we would like to have a different Europe, we are not expecting Europe to change significantly in the short to medium term. And in meanwhile, we have to defend our democracy, we have to defend the sovereign right of the people to decide on our common future. And at a certain point, this might mean to defend the right to protect Portugal and the Portuguese people from decisions taken at the European level.
Donde quieras, donde hay sitio. Y eso sí, porque si ya salió por la tarde, pero ya por la noche hace frío.
Slightly delayed, as always. Since we are traveling around and we want to hear your voices, we want to know about your struggles, the associations you may be part of. Maybe you have some demands towards the EU level, maybe you have some other struggles that you feel you share with people elsewhere in Europe. The questions that we're asking, why are we here, where are we going, feeling this uncomfortable feeling, for me that's connected to the fact that the system we do live in is not the answer. But neither do we know the answer. And I think one of the troubles is that we always try and look for solutions. And I think that is dangerous, because whenever we come up with one big solution that we impose from above, that doesn't work, because it ignores the differences of localities, the diversity of the people, different demands in different areas. So my personal belief is that if there is any kind of solution or a way to govern ourselves that will be more socially just, it has to grow from below. It has to organically grow in its different places. We need a community sense. We need to connect. We need to talk to each other. We need to know about each other. We need to understand that the struggles we face here are connected with the struggles others face. And only with that community sense can we then develop and grow from below our ways of living with it, and still keeping in mind that we are a bigger community and we face the same struggles. If you do go and vote, think about your European companions. Think about the people that may not be able to vote. Think about the people that may not have a strong voice, as well as the issues. Take that into account.
Ok, então quando forem votar, quem for votar para estas eleições europeias, para que pensem naqueles que não têm uma voz ativa, que não podem expressar